come from it. It's 149 for 5.
यति कार्पेट किन्दा कार्पेटको पछाडि यतिको लोगो हेर्न नबिर्सिनु होला। यति कार्पेट, कार्पेटको शहंशाह।
क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ, मूल्य होइन।
नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी।
पानी भण्डारणको लागि सबैभन्दा उपयुक्त स्टेनलेस स्टिल वाटर ट्याङ्क पञ्चकन्या एसएस ट्याङ्क 10 वर्षदेखि गुणस्तरीय सेवामा समर्पित।
Stock fantasy.
तपाईको असली एनर्जी रेड बुल असली नै रोजौं।
प्राकृतिक ग्राहक भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो। नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी।
Third power play, and in comes Lamachane. Very nearly ends up getting himself stumped, just about gets the bat down in time, Dylan Hayliger. There will be one thing and one thing only that Sandeep Lamachane will be thinking about here. That will be wickets. He's got a hunger for them unrivaled that you'll ever see. Fastest ever to 100 ODI wickets coming from 42 games. And I think he'll look at this as a real opportunity to get probably 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 next to his name.
Well, this is going to be an interesting contest, how Dylan Hayliger reads all those variations.
Hit it way out towards the man. I think it's Irie, is it, out there? And if he can't get there, well, nobody will. It's going to be a boundary 4. He gets applause from Sandeep Lamachane. Of course, it's Dipender Singh Irie. He's absolutely everywhere.
He is flying through the air there in the deep, but that ball was struck so powerfully from Dylan Hayliger. He got in the position quickly and just has so much power. Quick hands through the ball. Races away. There's no chance there in the deep.
It's the googly. Lamachane is convinced, and the umpire has absolutely no interest whatsoever.
And just look at Dylan Hayliger. He's walked off as soon as he tries to get some bat on that.
It's the googly. You can see why he's looking for the appeal, but it's probably going to miss leg stump. Just angling down. Maybe a little closer than you first looked.
Just getting himself out of the line of the ball as quickly.
Oh, wow. This has gone miles. One of the biggest you would ever see anywhere in the world. He hits a massive ball, does Dylan Hayliger. Over pitch from Lamachane, and it's gone over the retaining net. We're going to see new balls called for it. It's not a big straight boundary, but that was 6 anywhere in the world. What a strike.
Well, you were asking me if anyone's cleared that netting there. And Dylan Hayliger says, here, I'll give you live action of that. Man, did he strike that straight down the ground. And some pressure here on Sandeep Lamachane. He's gone for 10 runs, 1 4 and a 6. There's still 2 deliveries to come in the over, and this is why Dylan Hayliger sent up the order.
I don't think anyone hits a bigger ball in associate cricket, really, than Dylan Hayliger. He's broad-shouldered. He's got a great eye. And that was absolutely massive. If it's a 57-metre straight boundary, you can add another 5, maybe 6 to the retaining fence. That's 63. How high is that retaining net?
About 30, close to 40 feet.
Metre, what's that about?
This side screen is
10 metres probably.
20 feet.
Where were we?
So, I'll try and put it in a way I understand it. The side screen is about 20 feet. So double that from there, you're about 40 feet up in the air. I think you got the Google out.
I'm going to have to. 40 feet in metres. Okay, hold on. Let's have a look. Okay, so it's probably about 12 or 13 metres high. And it's gone, what, 10 metres, 8 metres clear of that? It has to be close to a 100-metre hit. You would and it was the trajectory of the ball was going up as it passed the netting. A remarkable strike. New ball called for. Not sure if Hayliger picked the googly. When we said it was going to be an interesting matchup, we've seen Lamachane before in ODIs be treated with a bit of disdain. There's a smile between him and the much bigger Hayliger. Asif Khan was the one, wasn't he, in March 2023, who he took Lamachane to pieces in what was the 4th fastest ODI century, and a lot of the damage, in fact almost all the damage, was done in that 3rd power play. So it's a risk reward, isn't it, as again Irie fields swiftly. 11 come from Lamachane's 8th, 160 for 5, 9 remain. We said this game could go either way, didn't we? We said it could be 160, 170 all out. All of a sudden, 230, 240 back on the cards.
Dylan Haliger's going at some speed here. 20 off 16 deliveries. It's the first real sign of aggression, putting these Nepalese bowlers on their back foot. And on the other end, they've got to deal with Nick Curtin, who is
DHI ले हजुरहरूको घरमा पनि धेरै खुसी आउनेछ. Wishing you all a happier home.
प्राइम बिलेटबाट बनेको हरेक निर्माणको मेरुदण्ड पञ्चकन्या 500 XT र 550 XT.
Panchakanya Steel.
Lalit Rajbanshi is brought back into the attack.
starts well here. Starts with a dot ball. Always going to be some reservations with what to bowl here against an aggressive Dylan Haliger.
Down the track, loves hitting down the ground, but Rohit Powdell is there and cuts it off, keeps it to just a single.
He's making his intentions very clear, Dylan Haliger. Not afraid to use his feet down the track, not afraid to open up those shoulders. And if he's out there for the remaining 8.5 overs, I think Nepal's going to have a mammoth total to chase down.
It's good from Curtin. Curtin's recognising here that, well, actually, hold on, Dylan Haliger's on one. He's got that bit of X factor, the bit of wild card quality to him, and there certainly is an opportunity here, isn't there, for Canada to post maybe 230, maybe 240. That could be defendable. In fact, whatever score they end up with, I don't think Nepal are going to get these runs easily. It's not that the pitch is terrible. We're not saying that. It's actually played pretty well. Powdell's going to have to do a lot of work out at long off, and oh, doesn't he do brilliantly? That's 2 runs saved. Outstanding. In fact, nearly creates a run-out opportunity, and Curtin, who is rapid across the crease himself, has to sprint to get back for 2. Outstanding fielding from Nepal's captain. Really impressive.
Well, he's covered about 20, 30 yards there.
We'll have every unit of measurement in history here, Manali. He has 20 or 30 yards. Inside edge, clever from Rajbanshi. 4 from the over, 164 for 5. But even if, let's say, Canada tail away here, end up with 190, it's not like Nepal are going to be certain to chase that down.
चिल्लो प्लास्टर मात्र गरेको बाहिरी भित्तामा एशियन पेन्ट्स ड्याम प्रुफ लगाइहाल्नुस्।
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा।
Can't wait, won't wait. Sunfy Stock Fantasy.
तपाईको असली एनर्जी रेड बुल असली नै रोजौं।
सानो सानो बचतले नै पूरा गरिरहेका हुन्छन् यी सबै आवश्यकताहरू। त्यसैले सानो होस् वा ठुलो, हिमालयन ब्याङ्कमा गरेको बचतले नै पूरा गर्नेछ तपाईको हरेक आवश्यकता। हिमालयन ब्याङ्क।
You kind of got, and then obviously the French-Canadian influence as well. I was on the flight coming across, we were getting the announcements in English, then in French. Then I was actually coming from Spain, from a friend's wedding that I managed to just about get to after the washed out test match in Delhi. And announcements were coming in Spanish too as a consequence. I was so tired I wasn't really understanding any of the 3. That's beautifully bowled, slower through the air. You can see Lamachani always wants wickets, doesn't he? And if they can get the back of Haylig or Curtin, maybe they can stem that progress that Canada are making. Another good diving stop. And the fans have been a little bit quiet, haven't they? Pretty warm out there. There's some umbrellas shielding them. The Nepal food truck is doing a good business. They're starting to come into the game. They're enjoying watching Lamachani and enjoying this little counter attack too. I think from Canada it's a real contest out there. I'm not sure how this one's missed. I think it was the googly. Might just have missed the off stump.
Hands on heads there. A good contest this between the big man Dylan Hayliger and Sandeep Lamachani. Went for a few in his previous over. He was taken to the cleaners. And this is a good comeback.
Now this one's gone many a mile. It's almost out onto the main road. Miles over the head of Dipender Singh Airi. Lamachani drags one down. Hayliger is playing a little gem of a knock. It's another big hit and it's 6 more to the total.
4 good deliveries, and the 5th one goes for a maximum. Dylan Hayliger, what are you doing here? Making a bit of a mess of Sandeep Lamachani's bowling fingers. 29 off 25. He's really bringing in the aggression here for this Canadian side. They've moved on to 171. 1 delivery to come in the over, and it looks like we might need another new ball here. That one's lost in the bushes. Still looking for the ball out there, but man, can he hit a ball as far as, well, I could never hit the ball that far, Lenny.
Yeah, look, not many can hit it as cleanly as Dylan Hayliger in the international game, let alone the associate game. He's a mammoth of a man. He looks in great condition, in great shape to me. He's missing one of his great pals in the team, Jeremy Gordon, not in the 15 at the moment. One of the changes to the squad from the Netherlands tour, the one that was, well, a bit ill-fated really from Canada's end, but Hayliger did more than enough also at times with the ball too. Tends to get it to bounce from, good bounce from back of a length as well, so you suspect he might enjoy bowling on the surface given that wicket that Gulshan Jad took.
Well, it turns out this is a good change in the batting lineup for Canada, bringing Dylan Hayliger up the order with plenty of overs to spare. Came in about the 38 over mark, and he's making a mark with the bat. Good strategy this from the Canadian side. We've got a ball back. 1 delivery to come in the over, and a little bit of pressure for Sandeep Lamachani to finish strong.
Guides it away. He'll keep the strike. Dylan Hayliger playing a really good innings here. He's 30 off 26. 7 overs remain. Canada coming alive in this contest. It's 172 for 5.
हजुरहरूको घरमा पनि धेरै खुसी आउनेछ. Wishing you all a happier home.
पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ. ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने. फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो. पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ. फोन पे डिरेक्ट, नगद छोडौ, फोन पे गरौ. चिल्लो प्लास्टर मात्र गरेको बाहिरी भित्तामा एशियन पेन्ट्स ड्याम्प प्रुफ लगाइहाल्नुस्.
विदेशबाट ई सेवा मनी ट्रान्सफर मार्फत ई सेवा वालेटमा पैसा पठाउँदा काठमाडौँमा घर जित्ने मौका.
Projected score now 200 if they continue at this rate.
Half a chip shot towards Bertel, who's going to take the catch. Clever bowling from Lalit Rajbanshi. Didn't want to allow him to free his arms, and he's ended up really just giving it away. It's just half a shot wasn't able to use the power that he possesses. We spoke earlier about how good Kushal Bertel is in the deep, and he was never going to drop that. And Nepal, they needed that breakthrough.
They needed that breakthrough, and they've gotten that breakthrough. Dylan Haliger, he had a gem of an innings, but unfortunately he wasn't able to kick on from here. He goes for 30 off 27, and with that, Nepal pick up the 6th wicket. Canada 172 for 6. Timely wicket this by Nepal. Rajbanshi 2 for 25 in his spell, bowling in his 9th over. 2 important wickets that he's picked up, and credit to these bowlers that they've
हजुरहरूको घरमा पनि धेरै खुसी ल्याउनेछ. Wishing you all a happier home.
पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ. ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो. पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ. फोन पे डिरेक्ट, नगद छोडौ, फोन पे गरौ.
साथीहो, गर्न भने जिन्दगीभर रिग्रेट गर्नेछु. Mountain Dew, डरको अगाडि जित्छ.
Tour, I know it was a tough one for Canada, but he was probably the pick of the players alongside Cherry-Osmova for the men in red there in the Netherlands. I thought he played really responsibly, really impressively with the bat, and then bowled very, very effectively. Rajbanshi, maybe the pick of the bowlers, isn't he? Being 2 for 25 to his name now. He's much more workmanlike, isn't he, than Sandeep Lamachane, but he's ever so effective. He's very clever. The 2 left-handers at the crease, you just wonder, will Lamachane be whipped out of the attack and maybe Irie brought back in as Sadbin Safar gets off the mark with a couple. They didn't really need to go looking for those wickets, did they? Nepal, they had them in a chokehold, but it's kind of part of their game plan, isn't it, to allow Lamachane to have as much impact on the game as possible.
Yeah, Canada haven't really gone about as well as they should have in this batting. In this batting attack, they've actually gifted a lot of wickets. Some of them are easy catches as well. It'll be really interesting to see how they navigate through to the end of the rest of the innings. 6.5 overs to come. The aggression and the big hitting, and Dylan Haliger is now back in the pavilion. So you'd feel that Nick Curtin's going to have to take the charge.
That one just kept a bit low. So maybe one in the first over and a couple here or there. I haven't seen that many misbehave. I think it's actually played pretty well this surface. So credit to the King City team. You have done a lot of work on these 4 pitches. Good weather is going to help. Hopefully the surfaces continue to play well, but we do continue to feel that spin will have an impact. Where to from here for Canada? 220, is that what they'll be thinking of with the last 6?
220 should be on the cards. Unfortunately, that wicket might have different plans.
Oh, edged away. The second time, no slip in place is going to cost a potential wicket-taking opportunity. Well, very nearly cost 4 runs, but Curtin is wise to the fact that it wasn't the greatest piece of fielding, and they'll pick up 3 down to that short boundary. Outstanding running from Nicholas Curtin. I think it was Lamachane who was, well, a little tardy with the fielding, to say the least. 44 have been bowled. It's 179 for 6.
लागि सबैभन्दा उपयुक्त स्टेनलेस स्टिल वाटर ट्याङ्क पञ्चकन्या एसएस ट्याङ्क 10 वर्षदेखि गुणस्तरीय सेवामा समर्पित
तपाईको असली एनर्जी रेड बुल असली नै रोजौ
क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी
अब उत्सव हुन्छ अझै बढी रमाइलो किन्नुहोस् 400 ml मात्र रु 50 मा
So it will be Dipender Singh to come in to bowl his fourth, meaning that Lamachane, for the moment, will still have one left. Not sure if he's going to bowl out or not. Different kind of makeup, don't they, to most international teams, Nepal, but because they have those challenges with the seam bowlers at the death, they do bowl a lot of spin in this third and final power play. Curtin looks for a big hit into the leg side. Isn't able to get it, and Bim Sharkey does really well to keep that to 1. Yeah, 220, I think, could make a fascinating contest. I don't think by any stretch Nepal will consider themselves favourites in the chase.
Well, they've got just a little more than 5 overs to come, and it's going to come down to how they maneuver those last 5 overs. Nearly indecision there. Sent back Saad bin Zafar. And it's the fielding. They're so watchful, and they have to be watchful. Pargat Singh, the only remaining all-rounder left after this.
This one's cut away. Again, we do have some production issues right now, whereby we can only show you the one camera. This one bounces a little more, cut away for another single. Is Zafar's job here just really to get Curtin on strike?
Absolutely. Nick Curtin definitely the more able with the bat between the two. He's also quite aggressive in his style of batting.
Now, big appeal. Dipender Singh wants the LBW, and he can't get it going in his favour. We're not going to be able to give you the replay, but Curtin's indicating there might have been some glove involved. End of the 45th, 184 for 6.
Well, that's the first sign of some unorthodox batting. He brings out the reverse. Wasn't able to get any back.
Wishing you all a happier home.
Stock Fantasy.
चिल्लो प्लास्टर मात्र गरेको बाहिरी भित्तामा एशियन पेन्ट्स ड्याम प्रुफ लगाइहाल्नुस्।
यति कार्पेट किन्दा कार्पेटको पछाडि यतिको लोगो हेर्न नबिर्सिनुहोला। यति कार्पेट, कार्पेटको शहंशाह।
Powell swept around the corner. That's going to be 4. Saad bin Zafar has started nicely. He's got more of a role to play than just picking up those singles. And the runs continuing to come for Canada.
Needed, much needed. They want to try and get close to that 220 mark to have something to defend. Bowlers are going to have to work hard. The pitch has improved significantly as well as time has gone on. The run's a little bit easier to come. Going down the ground, and a single off the mark. Saad Zafar, good strategy this, good cricket from Canada, making sure that Nick Curtin tries and gets as much of the strike as possible. The only remaining batter as he goes down the ground, and this is going to be a maximum. Nick Curtin taking the attack to the Nepalese bowlers with that maximum. It was a tracer bullet straight down the ground. Much needed as well.
It's the danger of Nicholas Curtin, isn't it? It really is. He's equally effective, probably any stage of the innings. Back live now. He's good between the wickets. He should get a couple here comfortably because that's very well placed. And Powell's 5th over is proving to be a costly one. Nepal's lack of death bowling options, they never really found a solution to it, did they? It's maybe been the one weak point, the one real Achilles heel of the Desai era. Well, that's going to be 6 more. Bit too easy for Nicholas Curtin here. And bang, bang, goes down the ground twice in the over. It's the biggest over of the innings. We've seen 17 runs come from it, and we see Canada bring the 200 up. 46 bowled, 203 for 6.
Well, that one has to be the shot of the day from Nick Curtin. Went for a 6, a couple balls before.
तपाईको असली एनर्जी रेड बुल असली नै रोजौं
हो यस्तै ससाना खुसी समेट्नको लागि हिमालयन ब्याङ्कले दिन्छ 1% थप ब्याज दर हिमाल रेमिट बचत तथा मुद्दती खातामा हिमालयन ब्याङ्क
Now Curtin goes big again, and he's going to get great reward. 6 more. This game is changing in front of our eyes right now. Canada are getting themselves, I think, into a positive position. Maybe even for the first time ahead in the contest. Now Irie is not spared from the damage. Another big maximum down the ground, and Curtin moves to within 1 of 50, one blow of 50.
No surprises here that it's the skipper, Nick Curtin, doing what it takes for his side, and I think we're going to have another lost ball here. That was another powerfully struck hit down the ground. He's targeted that area, playing in the V. 46 off 34, just one hit away from a half century. In Canada, they've cleared that 200 mark. In fact, they're racing to the 220 mark, and Nepal's going to have to be very careful here. They're going to have to be careful how they navigate through the remaining 3.5 overs, because things can take turn very quickly and take the game away from them.
Definitely a case of the old habits, the old difficulties for Nepal coming back to bite them here. Really have had much of this first innings under control, but their lack of death bowling options, again, has just left them leaving a little more exploited than they would like. Irie is good at the death, but he's now been hit for a big 6. And Curtin's array of shots and his range of options are proving hard for Nepal to tie down. That's cleverly bowled, just the single. But they just haven't been able to keep Sadbin Safar to much of the strike.
And they've really pushed the fielders here, these two. They've targeted the quick singles. They're looking for the overthrows, the misfields.
Another single, they won't mind that, but the problem is that Canada have all the momentum now. We spoke about 220, that's, well, miles away. That's dreamland for Nepal. 250, 260 on the cards here with a big final 3, particularly if Curtin is still there for the final delivery. Now it's going to be 6 more. Curtin putting on a clinic. He goes to 50 in real style. Over the head of the primarily Nepali fans in the crowd, but they're going to stand and give him an ovation. He's got to 50 of 36 deliveries. He struggled with the captaincy in the Netherlands, but back on home soil, Curtin back to his very best. And what a knock this has been.
Captain's knock, really. And he has been dealing in maximums. Sixes all around. He hit a few down the ground, and this time he goes to the offside. 2 4s, 4 6s as he brings up his half century. 53.
हजुरहरूको घरमा पनि धेरै खुसी ल्याउनेछ. Wishing you all a happier home.
चिल्लो प्लास्टर मात्र गरेको बाहिरी भित्तामा एशियन पेन्ट्स ड्याम्प प्रुफ लगाइहाल्नुहोस्.
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा.
साथी हो गर्नु भने जिन्दगी भर रिग्रेट गर्नेछु. माउन्टेन ड्यू डोरको अगाडि जित्छ.
Sampal Kami comes into the attack. We're going to see some pace. Saad bin Zafar, I'm sure he's just itching to get off the mark, bring Nick Curtin back on. A lot of gaps in the field as well to be able to do that.
It's Sampal Kami that they turn to, and the changes worked immediately. Karen Casey has a few of the Nepal fans dancing up in the crowd. No real celebrations. It was a change of pace. I think it's that knuckleball that he's definitely been working on. He gets his first wicket. And more conventional options at the death with medium pacers have worked the oracle. Saad bin Zafar is dismissed.
Making him reach for that delivery. No pace as well. Straight up in the air. And a comfortable catch. Saad bin Zafar. He's out 17 of 14 deliveries for him. And with that, Canada, they lose their 7th wicket. 220 for 7 after 47.1 overs.
DHI ले हजुरहरूको घरमा पनि धेरै खुसी ल्याउनेछ. Wishing you all a happier home.
पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ. ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने. फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो. पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ. फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ.
साथी हो गर्नु भने जिन्दगी भर रिग्रेट गर्नेछु. माउन्टेन ड्यू डोरको अगाडि जित्छ.
Number 9. And he's certainly capable of hitting a big ball too, isn't he?
Absolutely. Surprised to not see any Pargat Singh out in the middle. As Kaleem Sana comes out to the middle. Good tactic though, this. He is a more aggressive batter. He's on the mark for 5 deliveries here. Unless he can get Nick Curtin back on.
Another change in pace. You can see Sampal Kami is clearly varying things, isn't he? We're seeing leg cutters. We're seeing deliveries out of the back of the hand. Is it a case that Nepal have just tried to get a bit too funky? They've kind of looked at the matchups. They've said, okay, well, there's 2 left-handers in. We have to bowl the off-spinners.
That, or maybe just some really good batting.
Yep, definitely a part of it. Cut away behind square. Now Kushal Mala's had a good day in the field. That continues to be the case, but his throw won't prevent Kaleem Sana getting back for the second. I'm not sure if Curtin wanted it, but they have taken it, meaning the strike will be retained by the number 9.
Well, every run is important here, but you want to make sure that your more aggressive batter is getting strike as often as possible. He's the one who's been able to strike the big blows.
Another change of pace, clever from Kami. It wasn't like there wasn't overs of seamers to turn to. It's just that historically, particularly at the TU ground, Kami and KC have had issues, haven't they, at the death. Kami's probably been the one who's worked the hardest at his death bowling, tried to find variations.
Oftentimes some of these variations, you don't give enough credit to these bowlers. They're not easy to perfect. But when they're executed well, it does make a big difference. This is turning out to be good over for Nepal.
Curtin tries to break that with another good strike into the leg side. Cammy thought that Kushal Malla might have been able to get there. Won't be a maximum, but will be 4 more. Curtin just continues along his merry way.
Every time I have said that, every time I've complimented the bowling, something of that nature has happened. I'll take the responsibility for that, Sampal Kami, but that's 4 more runs to the Canadian total. Pulled away and placed to absolute perfection. Nick Curtin's having quite a knockout there, a captain's knock, as we look for the ball yet again.
Why is it that Curtin has changed his game so significantly? When he first came into the side for Canada, he found it really difficult to score quickly, didn't he?
I think he's got a better understanding of his game over the years. He's really figured out a science almost of what works for him and how he needs to pace his innings. He's got a very good understanding of his innings and how he needs to pace it. He's got all the repertoire of shots as well, which allows him to be able to do that.
Now Curtin goes again. Well, this is an exhibition. It goes straight on to the tent. It's a big 6. It's been quite sensational. Nicholas Curtin is driving Canada up to a total that could well be a winning one. Despite the wicket in the over, 13 runs come from it. It's 233 for 7.
Made his intentions very clear.